The whispering gourd. In a small village nestled by the great river Niger, there lived a young girl named Adanna. She was known throughout the land for one strange and wonderful gift. She could hear secrets whispered from the wind. But Adanna had a secret of her own, a small, smooth gourd that her grandmother, a woman whose eyes held the wisdom of the moon, had given her. Never let greed fill this gourd, she had warned, or it will teach you a lesson. One hot afternoon, the obus crier announced that the prince was seeking a wife. But this was no ordinary search. The prince had lost a precious royal bead, a single, iridescent stone said to hold the luck of the entire kingdom. He declared that whoever could find it would become his bride. Every maiden in the village searched, digging in the dirt and scouring the river banks, but found nothing. That night, as Adanna sat outside her hut, she held the gourd to her ear. A dry, rustling wind swept through the village, and a whisper slithered into the gourd. It was the voice of the wind itself, and it said, "The bead you seek was not lost, but stolen." The jealous chief, envious of the obus' power, has hidden it inside the largest yam in his barn. Adanna's heart pounded. This was her chance. The next morning, she went to the obus' palace. "Great Oba," she declared, "I know where the royal bead is. It is hidden in the largest yam in your chief's barn." The Oba was shocked. He sent his guards, and just as the wind had whispered, they split open the giant yam and found the gleaming royal bead inside. The treacherous chief was banished, and the Oba, overjoyed, announced that Adanna would marry the prince. A grand wedding was planned, and the entire kingdom celebrated. Adanna was showered with gifts, gold, clothes, and more food than she had ever seen. On her wedding night, sitting in her new royal chamber, she held the magic gourd. She thought of her humble beginnings, and a new, greedy thought entered her mind. If it can find a bead, she schemed, what other treasures can it find for me? She held the gourd to her ear and, in her most demanding voice, she whispered, "Tell me where the obus' secret treasure is hidden." But this time, no secret came. Instead, the gourd began to vibrate violently in her hands. From its opening, a deafening noise erupted. Not one secret, but every secret she had ever heard. The whispers of the entire village: who was in debt, who was jealous, who had a secret lover, all came screaming out of the gourd at once. The sound was so loud it filled the entire palace. The prince rushed in to find Adanna on the floor, hands over her ears, as the gourd screamed out every piece of gossip and private thought she had ever collected. He heard of her plan to find his father's treasure, and his face hardened. The next morning, Adanna was stripped of her royal clothes. The Oba, with a sad but firm voice, took back the empty, now silent gourd. "A secret is a treasure to be kept, not a weapon to be used," he said. Adanna was sent away from the palace, no longer a princess. Was only the memory of the day. A whispering gourd taught her that the greatest treasure of all is not what you can get, but what you can be trusted with.